want to join the conversation there, we're using the hashtag RMTC-DHH, and that's also in our announcement box. With that said,
welcome. As Kara just mentioned, I'd like to welcome each of you to our TA Live for May. With the school year ending soon, and since some of our minds can never seem to take a break, especially during summer and even during the school year when we want to keep one foot still in the water. With that in mind, we wanted to give you a plethora of ideas to keep you in the education game of professional learning. Today, your presenters will be RMTC's very own educational and technology trainers, Sherry Conrad, Kara Wilmot, and myself, Nancy McFall. TA Live is backed by the Resource Materials and Technology Center for Deaf and Hard of Hearing, RMTC-DHH. It is a statewide discretionary project housed on the campus of the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind, with the mission to work collaboratively to support the education of students who are deaf and hard of hearing in the state of Florida. This is the team of the people who make up RMTC-DHH. All of us work together collaboratively to support your needs, no matter what part of the state you are in. Here's a brief description of our team. And some of these people you may be familiar with already, but if not, we have Carmelina Hollingsworth, who is our director for the RMTC project. She supports Florida districts and schools based on the impact of initiatives on students with sensory loss. We have Laura McDonald. She is our administrative assistant. She oversees the lending library, coordinating captioning projects, and organizing professional development activities. Mark Keith is the trainer and the coordinator for parents and families. Mark provides training and consultation, information, and referrals for parents and school districts across the state of Florida. Kara Wilmot is the Deaf Education and Transition Coordinator and is highly experienced in working with deaf students in the field. She is coordinating the implementation of Deaf Tech Grant in the middle and the high school age students who are DHH in the state of Florida. She also is a coach for teachers implementing Foundations of Literacy program in Fairview Learning. Sherry Conrad is also one of the technology training specialists. She is our specialist with Deaf Plus population and our specialist for the data we collect on the DHH in our state and serving our committees who are focusing on improving our graduation rates among DHH. She is also one of Fairview Learning and Foundation coaches. And then there's myself, Nancy McFall. I'm also an educational support specialist, and I am our team specialist for early childhood and mental health issues that deal with deaf and hard of hearing population. And I'm also one of the coaches for Fairview Learning. RMTC-DHH is a discretionary project funded by the Florida Department of Education. It offers professional development, on-site observations, consultations, trainings, and technical assistance, as well as offers a free loan library. RMTC also provides language evaluations and assessments, information and referrals, and tons of resources. All the services and materials available from RMTC are provided at no charge. Moving on to our presentation. What can you expect to learn today? You will know when you need to update your certificate, or you sit through a school improvement meeting, and even going to professional developments that have nothing to do with our students or their unique needs. Well, this is the perfect webinar for you to help find the ones that will apply to your specific teaching needs, and lots of free ones included. Upon finishing this, you will be able to explain why teachers need a professional learning development, which we're going to refer to as PLN. Identify various sources of professional growth. Use the social media to develop and contribute to your virtual professional learning network.
So, what does it mean to work in the field of teaching students who are deaf and hard of hearing? Well, as many of you probably already know, it means being part of a unique group of professionals. DHH is one of the critical shortage areas in the state of Florida. We don't have enough teachers, and the ones we have are spread out far and wide. Many times, you are the only person or one of only a handful of people in your district who have any clue who you are or what you do. As Kara is going to share with you later, we are the zebra trainers. If you're itinerant, you'll know this firsthand. How many of you have heard, oh, you must be their aide? Oh, are you the student's tutor? In my 15 years of experience as an itinerant teacher, I was even asked if I was a student's mom several times. Our students do have unique needs, and because of that, they often have huge barriers to their instruction. With deaf, hard of hearing, none of our kids fit into a mold or all have similar learning characteristics. So we have to find how each student's special needs are able to be accommodated or modified in the classroom to break down those barriers to help them learn and move forward. If you've met one student who's DHH, you've met one student who's DHH. No two students are the same, much like no two zebras have the same color stripes. Finally, often the professional development offered in your district doesn't apply or requires you to adapt whatever it is that you've learned to meet the needs of your students. Your district may offer opportunities for you to learn about new strategies, but it might not be applicable due to the specific needs of a child with hearing loss. Therefore, you have to find or create alternate ways to keep up with what's new in the world of deafness and how to teach to each student's individual needs while making sure they have access to those grade level standards. So, because of all of that, you need a network. The truth is that none of us can do this alone. Thankfully, there are many ways to build your network, both in the real world and virtually. Face-to-face is always great, but it isn't always possible. Teachers of the deaf service a low-incidence population, so districts aren't necessarily going to spend a lot of money on professional development for this small group. That means you have to look outside your district. The World Wide Web makes it possible to connect with someone like you in the county next door or on the other side of the world.
I don't know how many of you are familiar with Karen Anderson's analogy that as teachers of the deaf, we are zebra trainers. When you first hear a zebra running, it sounds like a horse. Our students may sound like students with a learning disability when you first describe them, but they do not have a learning disability. They have a challenge with access to communication. Our students need different services than other students with IEPs. I remember my first year of teaching 20 years ago. I was the only teacher of the deaf in my school. I was assigned a mentor who was an experienced ESE teacher, but she had no clue how to help me, and she told me that. I had one computer in my classroom and no internet. There were other teachers of the deaf in the district, but we were not connected because we had no meetings for teachers of the deaf. My only relief was when the district specialist told me about RMTC. I would have drowned without their support. Kay Zell was my first contact, and she would come to my class every 2 to 3 months to provide me support, or if I gave her a call. I had to reach out to people outside my classroom, even then, to get the support I needed. Then I started attending FEHI, which has been renamed FEDA, and met teachers from other counties. Thanks to FEDA, I know some teachers from around the state for close to 20 years. Every time I go to FEDA, it's like going to a family reunion, seeing all my distant relatives. Also, I know in between I can reach out for help from them at any time. I am so glad I learned early on about the importance of networking to find support. PLNs are not a new concept. They are just easier to create now. The internet provides so much information, it can almost be overwhelming. You need to be strategic about creating your learning network. So we're going to watch a little video really quick, hopefully.
A personal learning network, or PLN, is a way of describing the group of people, and sometimes organizations, you connect with in order to learn from their ideas, their questions, their reflections, and their references. Your PLN is not limited to online interactions, but it is that online global interactive part that really makes it special. It is personal because you choose who's part of that group. Because you choose if you want to lurk, just check out what people are saying, or if you want to share. Because you choose when to do so and how to do so. You don't have to know the people in your PLN personally. Their contribution to your learning focus is what brought you together through the internet. It is a network because these people are in turn connected to other people and organizations that influence and enrich the interactions of your group through various collaboration tools, usually referred to as Web 2.0. It is focused on learning. For instance, the learning I'm focused on in my PLN is professional development and education. I follow people who have interest in pedagogy, didactics, and technology, and I offer them some of my thoughts on the matter in various forms. How do you engage with your PLN? The tools vary from one person to another. My personal favorites are Twitter, YouTube, and the Educator's PLN. Your PLN is always on, but you don't have to be always on it. Take what you want, offer what you want, when you want, where you want it, and on whichever device you prefer. This keeps learning, or your professional development, always easily accessible.
So I think we are all good at going to trainings in deaf education. The part we all need to work on is the networking and collaborating after the training. That is actually the most powerful tool. Let's look at the reasons why.
This graphic has a lot of information on it, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to look this over. Let's review 10 reasons why every teacher needs a professional learning network. Number 1, you need a network to be able to find great resources, lesson plans, and the best conferences to attend to continue your professional growth. Number 2, you need a network so that you can share your resources and ideas. Often, we feel isolated because of the nature of our profession. However, there are ways for you to be able to share your resources and ideas with the teachers all over the state of Florida or even around the world. We can all learn from each other. Number 3, you need a network. Professional learning networks give us the opportunity to follow amazing educators on their blogs. We're going to talk to you a little bit more later about some great blogs as well as some great podcasts that we have found and follow. Number 4, you need a network. When you have a professional learning network, you're able to get the support you need when you need it, even if it's not from your own backyard. And 5, you guessed it, you need a network. Growing your professional learning network virtually allows you to make international connections, which then allows for a differentiated perspective on educational or instructional practices. Yep, you need a network. Building and maintaining your personal and professional learning network allows teachers to think outside of the four walls of their own classroom. Getting the perspective of teachers across the state, country, and world allows for an increase in the ability to differentiate your instruction to the needs of each individual learner. You, yes you, need a network. Growing a personal and professional learning network virtually allows you to collaborate globally on projects. This is especially true when you're implementing the use of collaborative tools such as the Google Suite, Microsoft Office 365, and other tools such as Moodles and Wikispaces. A little side note about Wikispaces, beware, they're going away. So if you follow a great wiki, you better go out there and get your information down and out of it and save it someplace safe. So go now or forever hold your peace. Number 8, yes, you need a network. For those of us who are night owls, this is especially important. With virtual, personal, and professional learning networks, you're able to learn at any time, day or night. I myself do some of my best research and work at 12:30 in the morning. Show me, by raising your hand, participants, how many of you like to learn outside of the confines of your workday. Look, I see those hands being raised. That's great. Thank you. Number 9, you need a network. Keeping up your personal and professional learning network allows us to learn the latest trends in education, which could be difficult to do from our home districts. I'm sure some of you who are in this training today are the only person working in the field of deafness in your district, and that's common. Having a PLN allows you to bounce ideas off other people who've walked the same path you are on. And last but certainly not least, you need a network. You need a personal learning network so that you'll have an unlimited supply of ideas to try with your students. The RMTC staff has a list of ongoing technologies and strategies we want to try out so that we can bring them to you. However, we just don't have enough time to cover them all. If each person in your professional learning network would share one strategy once a week, can you imagine the number of supports that could be shared with the teachers all over your district, the state, the country, or even the world if we all participated?
Here are 7 ways based upon research that can help you create a professional learning network. Number 1, you need to make time to build your PLN. Number 2, follow groups and pages on social media. Number 3, participate in Twitter chats. Number 4, follow blogs. Number 5, listen to or read podcasts. Number 6, participate in webinars like this one. And number 7, use curation tools. You may already be doing something on this list, and that is great. But be cautious. You don't have to do all of these at once, or even all of these in 1 year. Take it slow and focus on one idea at a time. No matter which one you choose, get in there and collaborate as you use the tool. You have to make those connections through collaboration to truly grow and get all those great ideas, no matter which of these you decide to try. We hope to see you adding your ideas in the chat box as we discuss each way to create your professional learning network. Now, let's talk a little bit more about each of these ideas.
When do you make the time? You can work on your professional development goal during a 15-minute break, 30-minute lunch, after school, or even on Saturday morning in your PJs. You control the when and the where for your PD when you have a PLN. So you're a zebra trainer. Attending trainings around the state is one way to get to know people in your tribe called DHH, Birds of a Feather Trained Together. So what do we do after we attend these trainings? Or what do we do if we are unable to attend any face-to-face trainings? We connect using social media. The web allows you to connect with people with similar professional development goals from all around the world. You can do it through social media and Facebook groups, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, Instagram. And if you have any others, please put them in the chat box.
Facebook is more than a way to sell multi-level marketing products like LuLaRoe or Isogenics. It is also a way to connect with other professionals from the comfort of your recliner. Some groups, like the Radical Middle and Understood.org, hold Facebook chats where members can discuss topics in a moderated form. This is a great way for teachers to unite for a given cause. I follow many professional pages. I like to take a little time each day to read articles posted on Facebook. If I'm browsing for personal reasons, I save professional articles to read later. Then when I'm ready to do some professional work, I go back and read those articles and take notes. I also like to comment on them to collaborate. These are just a few specific groups for the deaf, hard of hearing and pages we recommend you follow. RMTC works hard to share on Facebook what we find from around the state of Florida that is applicable for our stakeholders. Please feel free to send us ideas to post, or if your area is having an event that you would like us to advertise on Facebook or through our info emails, send us an email at info@rmtcdhh.org. I know this is a lot of links, and please don't try to write them all down. You can download the actual PowerPoint right now and get to all these links because they're hot, or you can access just our little flyer in the files to download with just the links without all of the PowerPoint to get back to these. These are alphabetical because one is not better than the other. It depends on what you teach, which ones you may want to follow. Well, that's not completely true. I want every one of you who is on Facebook to make sure that you're following RMTC-DHH right now, if you have not already done so. Is this an all-encompassing list? No. Actually, I wanted to give you guys a minute or two if you wanted to add a Facebook page that we're missing that we should add to our list. If there's not another one you think we should add, then tell us which one is your favorite and why it's your favorite so the rest of the group knows. Or share your love for RMTC and let us know why you think our Facebook page is so awesome. Does anyone in there have any suggestions? I see Nancy typing something. I really like the Science in ASL. This is done by several teachers of the deaf who are deaf themselves. They are based out of here at Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. Jessica Stoltz did a really cool one yesterday about does it sink or float from a little STEM kit she had. Thank you, Sherry and Corey. I see you guys. Oh, now multiple attendees typing. The National Deaf Center has had some really great YouTube videos they've posted that I've used in trainings. I really like theirs about having students text has actually improved their English and reading skills even after they graduate. Sherry says she loves hearing about upcoming statewide initiatives and meetings for other organizations. Very good. And I also love Described Caption Media to see all the new videos they have and the topics that I don't even think about adding. Okay, you guys just another little minute or two and see. Yeah, Corey, I'm actually blocked from Facebook during work hours. I do it in the evenings. It's one of those things I have to do. I cannot be on FSDB's network and get on Facebook. But that's the beauty of it. Sometimes when I'm doing a little bit of professional development at home. Okay. Oh, Cult of Pedagogy. Yes, that's a great one, Randy.
You guys can keep typing those ideas down there in the chat box. This will be recorded, so even if you don't get a chance to read every one of them, you can always go back and read them later. Right now, we're going to talk about getting your tweet on. By giving us a show of hands, how many people are currently using Twitter, either personally or professionally? While you guys are doing that, I'm going to give you a little bit of information on Twitter. An article on theconversation.com shared interesting information and statistics on the prevalence of the use of Twitter by teachers. A survey of 755 teachers in the U.S. asked how and why teachers are using Twitter. It found that teachers valued Twitter's personalized, immediate nature and the positive professional collaborations it can encourage. Teachers reported that Twitter can be used to combat teaching isolation, a problem for many teachers that can result in burnout and/or teachers leaving the profession. And this is a very serious concern in the world of deaf education as well. An article published in the Journal of Research on Technology in Education indicated that, quote, teachers highly value Twitter as a means of self-directed professional development. Respondents who reported using Twitter multiple times a day were more likely to use it for professional purposes than for personal ones. Chief among the reported perceived benefits were professional development and meaningful relationships that teachers formed with other teachers who used Twitter. Implications for practice, including the ability for teachers to seek professional development for their specific needs, are discussed, end quote, in the journal cited on this slide. So when you download these slides later, that blue box in the bottom left corner is a hyperlink to the article on theconversation.com. The teachers surveyed in these research articles indicated they not only got professional support, but emotional support as well from connecting with other educators via Twitter. So once you've set up your account, who do you follow on Twitter? The first thing you need to do is decide if you want a personal or professional presence. Remember that following someone will put their information on your Twitter feed. There's a handout in the files to download for some recommended Twitter users to follow. When you like or retweet something, it shows on your personal Twitter wall. You want your professional learning network to see that you've liked every post by every cast member of Dear Evan Hansen for the past year and a half. Some people, Sherry Conrad, have professional and personal Twitter profiles to keep their obsessions separate from their passion, which might be education. Here are some people we like to look at. Who do you stalk? Put that down in our chat pod. I see Kara's typing. Kara wants you to follow her at RMTC_Wilmot. Randy is following FSDB's Pineapple PD. That's a great handle to follow. Kara does like to follow the Pineapple PD and National Deaf Center as well. I'll tell you that the Fiddlers people are really funny and crazy experience with posting great education-related memes that sometimes are kind of funny too. So if you have a chance to follow them, I would. So let's take a second to look at this graphic of the anatomy of a tweet, for those of you who aren't familiar. We teach our students to use the vocabulary appropriate to the situation, and so we're going to help you to become familiar with the vocabulary associated with using Twitter. User pictures are referred to as avatars. The person's name is self-explanatory, however, their Twitter name can be something completely different, and Twitter names are also referred to as handles. If you look, all tweets are time-stamped. Within the body of a tweet, you can post both your own information as well as links to outside web pages. However, please remember you have to do it in 280 characters or less. Using a hashtag helps to organize the tweets of the same topic. For example, RMTC uses the hashtag RMTC-DHH so that all the tweets in the Twitterverse are organized and accessible in one lump grouping. This phenomenon is also found on Facebook. The symbols on the bottom of a tweet give users the option to reply directly to the tweet that was posted or retweet that tweet that was posted. You can click the star to indicate your agreement or liking of the tweet, which is also known as making it a favorite. A word of warning though, you can only delete a tweet. You cannot edit it once it's posted. So if you go back and reread your tweet and see an error, what we have to do is copy the tweet, delete it, start a new tweet, paste it, and correct your error, and then repost it.
Twitter chats are a great way to collaborate and find new people to follow. Different groups will host them. They usually have a theme. It can be overwhelming to participate at first. I recommend the first time you just lurk. Here are some tips to make it easier to participate in a chat. When you first go to Twitter, you type in the search bar the hashtag for the chat. Tonight is the final DefEd Twitter chat for the school year, which is why I have hashtag DefEd in the search bar. Then, after you've typed this in and searched for it, you click Latest, which is over here. That way, always the latest tweet shows up in your feed. You can also save searches for chats you participate in on a regular basis. You do that by clicking these three little dots over here on the top right-hand corner to save it. And it'll give you the option like this once you click on it so that you can save the search. Make sure you search for hashtag DefEd and save that search today. Then the second Thursday of the month, you can join in that Twitter chat. It is the same day as TA Live. If you miss one, the moderator publishes all the tweets if you want to go back and read them. Or after the fact, you can go back and read them if you want to find that one tweet that you were really excited about. Most of the time, the questions are posted ahead of time. I like to create a Google or Word document to plan out my answers. I look for links for articles or pictures to support my answers. Some people are creative and use GIFs. I type out the answers in the correct format with all the @ signs to people in groups or hashtags I want to include. And this also gives me the opportunity to count out my words to make sure that they're within the range. When you add a person or a group, it tags them in the post and it will show up on their news feed. The hashtag makes it so when a person searches those words, they can find all the posts with that same hashtag. Some more tips are to know the moderator. For DefEd chats, Heidi Givens is the owner, but mostly she has guests who moderate the chat for her. The moderator is usually the expert on the topic for that month. You usually have about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the chat, to respond to each question. With the DefEd chat, they always start with asking you who you are, where you are from, and what is your job. So if you want to participate in the DefEd chat tonight, try to at least respond to that question. When you answer a question, start with the letter A for the answer, the number for the question, and a colon, and then end the response with hashtag DefEd. If you are in a search mode we mentioned in the previous slide and you hit tweet, it will automatically add the hashtag for the chat. Even if you don't answer a question your first time, like tweets of other people, retweet those ideas you like, or just give us some love at RMTC-DHH or anyone else on our team. So here is a sample from a recent DefEd Twitter chat. Everything shows up in blue. Everything that shows up in blue has an @ symbol or a hashtag, and those are hyperlinks. If you click on the @Wendy or the @Ricky Pointer, those will actually go to those people's Twitter pages. If you click on the hashtags, you're going to see everything that's been posted from hashtag DefEd. Or if you click on hashtag translation, you'll see all the different posts about @translations related to those tweets. And again, tonight is the hashtag DefEd Twitter chat, and it's the season finale for this school year. And here are tonight's questions for the DefEd Twitter chat. So now you're ready after this webinar to go write down type out some answers so that you can participate in the Twitter chat tonight. I hope to see some of you there.
So just so that you're familiar with some of the common abbreviations found on Twitter, we thought we would share some for you. You know, when you only have 280 characters, you find ways to shorten what you're trying to say. Some I'd like to point out include A11Y, which is an abbreviation for the word accessibility. DDBDDHHLD stands for deaf, deafblind, deaf and disabled, hard of hearing, and late deafened, or basically anybody with any type of hearing loss. The capital letter S followed by the lowercase s, or the capital letter T followed by a lowercase s, represents the words students and teachers respectively. TBH means to be honest, and a very important abbreviation that you need to be familiar with is NSFW, which means that whatever is following that or whatever is contained in the link is not safe for work and may contain offensive content, so you probably shouldn't click those while you're at work. So what is the purpose of a hashtag? A hashtag allows people in the Twitterverse to collect all the posts within that same hashtag so the content is easy to follow. Here are some that we commonly see both in RMTC's tweeting and education tweeting. One of the aspects we'd like to point out is the presence of camel typing, where you start each new word with a capital letter. This increases accessibility and allows people to read the hashtags more easily and allows screen readers to be able to read the hashtags, which is important for people who have visual impairments.
From Facebook and Twitter to other resources for you to develop your network, I personally am a bit old-fashioned and I love reading blogs. Just like Randy kind of stated, some of the Twitter handles and some of the Facebook websites also have blogs to follow. These are just a few of some of the great blogs out there. Every week it seems I find a new one. You may have your own favorite, so again, please pass them on and like now in the chat box if you want. Would be a great time for us to get, or your network, to share with us or with your network of friends when you're connected. And after you read a blog, share your thoughts on social media with hashtags RMTC-DHH. And you could do @people or @RMTC-DHH. I'll let you look over those and then they'll be in our PowerPoint also if you want to click on them to get into some of these.
I spend a lot of time in the car, and this is how I fill my time. I listen on my phone to a variety of podcasts for personal and professional learning. When I'm not driving, I follow up reading the transcripts or outlines of the podcast to access links to learn more about the topics I think apply to my professional growth. I like to listen to all the podcasts on an accelerated speed, which drives my family crazy, but it helps me get through them faster. A great one to start with is the 10-Minute Teacher podcast by Cool Cat teacher Vicki Davis. And as the title says, it's only 10 minutes. On Mondays, she has Motivational Monday, and she has Tech Tuesdays, and then she has a special education podcast every week and other different topics. But I find they're very beneficial and easy to digest and very applicable because Vicki is still in the classroom teaching what she's preaching. Many of these podcasts also have blogs to support them for further learning. I also like Angela Watson's Truth for Teachers because she gives you organizational tips to help you get through your day and make the most of your time. Do you guys have any favorite podcasts that you like to listen to? Sherry says 10-Minute Teacher is only about 8 minutes if you accelerate the speed. But I do it on double that, so it's actually only 5. There's a couple of people typing. So how many of you have used the RMTC-DHH's free loan library services for educators, interpreters, and professionals that serve students who are deaf and hard of hearing? Give me a thumbs up if you have, or a hand raise. This service is free to use, and the project even pays for shipping. Would any of you like to share in the chat box materials you have checked out that have helped you in the classroom? We will be open all summer for you to check out these materials. Summer is the perfect time to read a book or work on your ASL skills using one of our ASL videos. So I get a lot of questions from people about how to use the loan library. It can be a little confusing because it's so simple and you don't even realize it. But to begin with, you need to type what you're looking for right here in the search box. Well, actually, first you need to create an account. And if you have trouble creating an account, you can call 1-800 and Laura will help you. But once you've logged in, then you get to the search box. Type either the exact title of what you're looking for or a keyword and then click search. That's the key, is clicking the search. Once you do that, it'll give you all sorts of titles with that exact title or those words. If you click Browse Catalog, what happens is it gives you everything in the catalog in the order A to Z, which can be a little overwhelming. After you've searched and found the title you want, click Add to Queue. Once you click that, it should show up on the right side of your screen. And that's it. There's nothing else to do. Laura will get a notification. She'll pack it up and send it to you. It's that easy. A lot of people think that there should be another step and that their browser is freezing up or something, but it's not. Once it's in the queue, she'll work on getting it shipped to you.
RMTC's loan library isn't the only place to borrow books for the summer.
Sherry.
Oops, or maybe I'll let Kara go through her slide next instead of talking before it's my turn. Sorry, you guys.
Here are some recent additions to the loan library, but not everything we have. Again, this is not saying one is better than the other. I literally just copied titles from what's new. If you have suggestions of books or videos you feel we should add, feel free to email us. We keep a running list as we get funding for the library, and then we will add those new materials. So take the time to check out some of our new materials. I'm kind of excited about the Tree Schooler Science video series. And also one of my former professors, Dr. Carl Williams, has published a new book that's in our loan library. So let us know what materials you have used from our library that you like, or send us an email of something you think we should add. Sherry.
Now I will talk. Sorry, guys. We get so excited about what we're presenting. As I was saying a little prematurely, our library isn't the only resource for free reading material. Your local libraries and district professional development libraries may have additional titles for your summer learning opportunities. Before you go on Amazon or any of those places and purchase any of these books, make sure that you check in your own backyard, since they might be available for no cost. Also, while you're checking that out, you might find other ones that interest you. Remember, if they're good, you may want to share them with us so that we can share it with everyone. A couple of books on this list that I've read that are really great are Teach Like Your Hair's on Fire by Ray Fesquith and The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog. The other books that are on this list are other books that RMTC staff have read and enjoyed, or that we've heard about through podcasts or blogs. But these are not in our library. If you read any of those and you like them, let us know. And I am so excited to announce that RMTC is offering not one, but 2 awesome Summer of 2018 book studies. This summer, I'm going to be presenting Visible Learning for the Literacy, which is a 6-week-long book study on incorporating visible learning strategies into your instructional repertoire. And I'll let Nancy share about hers.
I'm going to be doing the other one this summer that's called the Itinerant Teacher's Handbook Book Study. And we'll be covering it in 8 sessions, all the areas of itinerant services from scheduling your students and traveling to different locations to working with your schools and other professionals, and even how to organize your trunk, aka your mobile office, along with sharing materials you may need. We also will have a couple guest speakers with us. So join me if you would like to learn more about becoming an efficient traveling teacher of DHH. The study will be a little bit longer than Sherry's because we will meet weekly and we'll have a couple weeks where we have a break. We'll be meeting on Tuesday morning for an hour and begin May 29th with the tech check, and then we'll end July 31st. You can see the flyer for more information that we posted in our files to download. If you participate in either of these or both, you'll receive a copy of the books free. You can register now in the link. These are opportunities to increase your knowledge of the current best practices. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong slide. Go ahead, Kara.
Everybody just wants to take over.
I know.
RMTC has created and is developing more online trainings for our stakeholders to participate in when they have time. RMTC is available after stakeholders have finished these online modules for any follow-up they need for implementation of the information learned. The functional listening evaluation is available now on our website. The FLE is an assessment used to determine communication access for students in a variety of settings at school. It can also be used to make database decisions about accommodations for access in the classroom. Usher screening and DefEd Express are available in the State Professional Development online portal. All students who are deaf and hard of hearing are required by state statute to be screened once for Usher syndrome before graduating. DefEd Express is an introduction to deaf education for anyone in a school working with a student who is deaf or hard of hearing, not only teachers of the deaf. I had a teacher just finish the Usher screening and call me yesterday, and we were able to review some audiograms as part of their Usher screen. So again, even if you take these online, we're here to help support you and clarify and go through and do the actual process once you have completed the training.
Okay. There are opportunities to increase your knowledge of current best practices through some of the popular websites. A disclaimer here. Be aware that even though they offer in-service points or CEUs that may cost money, you must get approval from your district before you do an independent study and receive points towards your recertification. However, many of the webinars that are free may be worth the time and the effort, even if you don't do it for the points. Here's a list of some of the ones that offer info, especially for deaf and hard of hearing. And of course, there is the TA Live archived for you to listen to as well if you've missed any. Please check out the list of the really well presented ones. Another way to stay in touch with us, oh, I'm sorry, I think I'm skipping. Go ahead.
Curation.
Get me again. These are some links to websites that have free webinars that are not deaf, hard of hearing specific. I really recommend you learn how to use the Florida PBS Learning Media. This is a great free tool for all age levels, all grade levels. Florida has a grant to pay for it for anyone to use that has a Florida zip code, and that includes teachers, parents, students. It doesn't matter. Anyone can access these free resources. And they're very visual and interactive. And they have all sorts of different options that can help improve your instruction in the classroom. You can also become a Florida PBS Distinguished Teacher and get paid throughout the state of Florida for providing this professional development. You can become one of these distinguished Florida distinguished teachers by contacting your local PBS station. Whether your district is Google, Apple, or Microsoft, the companies offer micro-credentials on using their tools in education for teachers. Summer is a great time to learn how to use these products to their full potential. They also have programs to become distinguished teachers where you can then provide professional development. You may also be able to get paid to provide that professional development. Finally, name a tool like VoiceThread, ThingLink, Flipgrid, Padlet. There are so many out there. They all offer free training on their websites. Basically, it's a marketing tool for them, but it can help you out. The more you know how to use it, the more you will use it, and the more you'll tell other people. In addition, you're more likely to convince your district to buy it or to continue paying to use it if you're a trainer for it. Take the summer to become an expert on one tool to add to your class. We, as well as other teachers of the deaf around the state of Florida, would love to hear how you are using this tool in your classroom at the next FIDA conference, which will be Friday and Saturday, November 2nd and 3rd, 2018 in Daytona Beach Shores. I know I'm working on ThingLink, so that's my professional development for this summer, and I'm using the free tools on the ThingLink website.
So you start checking Facebook, and you go to Twitter, and you listen to blogs, and you listen to podcasts. What do you do with all of that information? Much like the curator of a museum is the person who makes sure the collections are arranged in a meaningful way for the museum patrons, we have to become the curators of our own learning. There are so many wonderful tools out there for keeping information organized. Choosing how to curate and what tools to use can be a very personal decision depending on your own needs and preferences. That's why it's so great to have the World Wide Web of tools at your fingertips. There is no shortage of options. These ideas are listed alphabetically because we're not saying one is better than the other. You may actually use more than one tool. A couple of months ago, I presented on ways to use Padlet for itinerant teachers. You can watch this archived presentation by visiting rmtc-dhh.org/TA-live. Be advised, Padlet has upgraded its services and added some cool new features, and as such has changed the terms of their subscription, which limits the number of walls you can create for free. However, if you are just using Padlet for information management or curation, you should be able to utilize the free account with no problem. Curation is absolutely necessary in the information age. As Gail Allen says in her book, The New Pillars of Modern Teaching, we're assembling resources in a way that represents the ongoing story of our learning. We are the curators. Curation tools are not limited to just what you see on this list. We were just familiar with these. Do you have a great tool? We would love to hear about it. Drop it in the chat box so everyone has a chance to use it. Would you like RMTC to create a group for you to develop our professional learning networks? You are going to see two different polls come up in Adobe Connect. So we would like for you right now to pay close attention to the screen because we want to know what tools you'd like to see RMTC develop for virtual collaboration and what you would like us to use to share that information. I'm going to add a poll. The first poll is, how would you like the groups to be created? Would you like them to be organized in a Java-like manner, such as for teachers who teach a bilingual class, an auditory oral class, itinerant teachers, resource teachers, elementary, middle, high, deaf plus, in that manner? Or would you like it to be topical, where we organize the information and organize the network according to curriculum, or audiology, expanded skills, transition, or data collection? Please take this poll now. I'm going to give everyone a few seconds to fill out that poll. see we have 7 of 10 participants who have responded. Oh, looks like we're getting close to everybody. Right, the next poll is, what tool do you prefer for collaboration? A Facebook group, a Twitter chat, Basecamp, Padlet, Slack. Okay, it looks like we have all 10 respondents. Interesting how the distribution came out for this. It does look like you would prefer for it to be organized in a Java-like manner. And it looks like you guys like Basecamp. That's great. Well, your RMTC staff is going to start working on that for you. I just have to hide these polls so you can see the presentation. Man, that was a lot of information. A great way to keep in touch with us and to continue to have the most current information on upcoming conferences, presentations, trainings, new technology, changes in the law, in our new website, etc., is to sign up for our newsletters. Please show us with a show of hands how many of you already received TechNotes. And if you're not raising your hand, that's your homework for tonight, is to sign up for TechNotes. Nancy, are you still in the room?
I am so sorry. I was reading quickly and I had my mute on. Another way to stay in touch with us, of course, is Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Vimeo. Thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your day today. We would also like to take this time to thank the CART provider, Lenore Schatz, Alternative Communication Services, for providing our captions today. We know that many times you guys are on the front lines and you are the first ones to reach a student with a hearing loss in your district, where they may not be aware of the supports that are out there for the population. We love hearing from you guys, and all of us are happy to help in any way that we can. We just need you to reach out. Don't be afraid to get out there and start your own PLN now that you know how to do it. Remember to share the wonderful things that you have learned and are doing in your classrooms. You can connect with us through social media or sign up for our newsletter. We would love your comments on social media about what you learned at hashtag RMTC-DHH. As you know, we are a B discretionary project and all our services we provide are free. One way we can continue to do that is by collecting survey data to justify why our services are needed. If each of you would please complete this survey right now, we would greatly appreciate it. If you had a colleague who missed this broadcast or you would like to rewatch it, and head over to http://rmtc-dhh.org/TA-live. We are going to stay on the line a few minutes for questions, and if you would like to continue to add any PLN resources that you have that we may not have mentioned or covered in our presentation. Thank you.